Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
And I'm Chris Ferzoco. Today we're going to be discussing, Joe, market statistics, and we're actually going to be looking at December of 2023 versus November of 2023.
That sounds like a good plan to me. And this is if this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe below, tap that bell for instant notifications, and please hit the like button so you'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information or happenings down here at the Jersey Shore. And when I say that Jersey Shore, I mean from Brigantine all the way down to Cape May and all towns in between. Ocean City, Sea Isle, Somers Point, Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Stone Harbor, Avalon, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, West Wildwood, Lower Township, Diamond Beach, North Cape May, Villas, Delhaven, Cape May Courthouse, and Upper Township. Chris, get us started in the upper half there, what we're talking. I think Ocean City you're going to do, right?
Sure, I'll start with Ocean City, Joe, no problem. So in the comparison there, folks, that we're going to look at today is going to be, Joe, what the properties actually sold for. So we're going to look at the sale price. Okay, we're going to look at the number of properties that actually came on the market. We're going to look at the number of properties that actually sold, meaning went to closing. And then we're also going to take a look at, folks, we're going to compare the list price to sale price. That's obviously has still remained a very hot topic of conversation. People wanting to know, with the changing market that's been out there and discussed, how are the properties comparing? Are prices coming down? Are they coming off the asking prices? So on and so forth. So we will look at that sale price versus list price as well.
Cool.
So jumping into Ocean City. So we look at December here, Joe. Actually, the numbers actually were increased in December over November, rather significantly. Actually jumped up 11.5%.
Okay.
That number is looking at right now at about 1.16 million, up from just over $1 million there on average. So that's what we're looking at. For the number of properties that came on the market, we actually had a significant decrease there, Joe, and that's going to be a trend we're going to be talking about here today, folks. We actually dropped 27.5% for the number of properties that came on the market. Now remember, we are talking about December, so in a shore town, seasonal, there's a little bit of that's going to come into play. But we're looking at 90 properties down to 65, again, a 27.5% drop in what came on the market. For the number of properties that sold, went to settlement, it did drop 11%. Let's be clear though, if you look at real numbers, it went from 45 down to 40. So it wasn't a huge drop in the actual number of closings that actually had occurred. List price to sale price, virtually the exact same. So the sale value is actually remaining flat. As you always like to point out though, the great news is if you get 96% in November, you got 96% in December. However, as I said a minute ago, it was up to 1.16, so you're actually making even more money.
You started at a better number.
Yeah, you're starting at a higher price, and you're still getting almost all of it. So that's a win-win.
Win-win.
Moving down a little bit on the coast here, I'm going to jump into Sea Isle. So Sea Isle City actually had a fairly significant drop in the actual sales value. It actually went from 1.5 down to 1.3. So it's just about a 16% drop there in the overall value of the property selling. What I mean by overall value too, Joe, let me just be clear here. We're actually talking about all property, folks. So we're talking about, you know, from your efficiencies all the way up to your beachfronts, 5 bedrooms, no bedrooms. We're talking about commercial property, duplexes, multifamilies, and even vacant lots. So covering everything and anything, that's right. So again, in Sea Isle, we did have that 16% drop. As for the number of properties that came on the market, we did have a slight drop there too. Again, that was about 21%, real numbers being 19 down to 15. And for the number of properties that actually sold, this was interesting. We had a huge jump. It actually went from 5 up to 15. So it's about a virtually 200% jump. So, but we had more properties close in December. Probably everybody trying to get them in before the end of the year, as we do see most years. So again, nice increase there in the number of properties closing here in the month of December. Again, much like Ocean City, list price to sale price, virtually the same. Just sitting right around 98%, just a little bit higher than 98% there, Joe. So, you know, again, you're still getting virtually all of what the list prices are, little slight variations here and there, but you were starting at a little bit of a lower price point though in Sea Isle as opposed to Ocean City where the value had gone up.
You know, all good, you know, good things, all pluses there when it comes to sale prices, and at least there's traffic, you know, in the month of December. Moving further down into Cape May County, Chris, so we're going to go to the Wildwoods. So we're in North Wildwood. Your average sale price was up almost 29%. In the month of December compared to November. $827,000 was your average sale price. When it comes to properties listed, you know, how many came on the market and how many sold, I will tell you that in the southern half of the county and all the towns we're going to talk about, all properties as far as the number of properties listed was down from the month of November, which as we talked about, you know, Chris was talking about with Ocean City and Sea Isle, It's the time. It sort of is the time of the year. You know, there's end of the year months here. As we get into maybe January and February, you'll start to see some upticks there. Had 9 properties come on the market in the month of December in North Wildwood. We had 15 sell, which was actually up 40%. From the month of November. So much like you were saying before, people trying to get that end of the year, get that purchase in before the end of the calendar year. As far as your list price to sale price, pretty much the same in North Wildwood. They got 98% of their list price in the month of November. They got 98% of their sale price in the month of December. The biggest difference is your average list price in the month of December was $827,000. Your average list price in North Wildwood in November was $593,000. So you started at a much better level there. Again, dropping down in the Wildwood, your average sale price was up about 9%. $552,000 was your average list price in the month of December. As far as properties that were listed for sale, we had about a 16% decrease. Looking at raw numbers, we had 21 properties come on the market in December, 25 came on in November. So, but still very low. I mean, if you think about that, Chris, 21 properties came on in the month of December in Wildwood. That's less than 1 a day were coming on the market in Wildwood. And as we so often say, these are all properties, dirt, commercial, multifamily, like it's everything and anything. So less than 1 property a day came on the market in Wildwood. So just, still that dragon when it comes to the amount of properties listed for sale, in all the areas. I mean, if you look at if we look at the 3 boroughs in Wildwood, there was, quick math here, 2, 3, 33, 41. So a little over 1 property a day came on the market in all of the boroughs in Wildwood. I mean, it's
not enough.
Just not enough. So moving forward, so we had 16 properties sell in Wildwood in the month of December, which was down about 10%. We had almost 18 sold in the month of November. So not a big difference, 16, 18. So really just two units. Average sale price was 97% list price to sale price. Again, you're starting at $567,000 in December, as opposed to $477,000 in November. So a big jump there as well. Wildwood Crest is a little bit different. Your average sale price was $489,000 in the month of December. That was a drop of about 27%. When it came to the number of properties listed for sale, dead even, 12 November, 12 December. And as far as properties that sold, we had 8 close in December. We had 12 in the month of November. List price to sale price, this is where, some towns are really good, some towns are not. Your average list price to sale price in Wildwood Crest was 91%. Your list price was $533,000 with your average sale price of $489,000. And then in November, it was $694,000 was your average list price, with $666 as your average sale price. So while we have some of them that flipped, Wildwood Crest flipped the other way. You even dropped. Diamond Beach, Sea Point Village, zeros across the board. Actually, I take that back. We had 2 properties come on the market in Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach area in November and December. We had 0 close, 0 sell. So at that point in time, your average sale price is 0 because nothing closed. Cape May. Average sale price was down about 33%. The month of November was 1.583, as opposed to the month of December was 1.1. Amount of properties that came on the market, it was a big drop. We only had 2 properties come on the market in Cape May in December. We had 10 in the month of November. So that was a big drop there. As far as properties that were selling, 4 and 5, 4 in December, 5 in November. So not really a change there, folks, when it comes to the number of properties that sold. Your average list price to sale price was pretty much a dead even, 96%. But as we talked about before, it was 1.6 in November as opposed to 1.1 in December. So big difference, almost about $500,000 difference there for Cape May between November and December. So I know you want to jump offshore a little bit for some of the other areas.
Yeah, some of the primary home markets that we cover here, Joe, like Upper Township, they actually had a slight decrease, actually, just very minimal there in the overall sale value. It went from 426 down to 417,000, so about a 2% drop there. So just very minimal for the primary home market. As for the number of properties that came on the market, real numbers +1, right? So you actually had 1 more home come on the market. It was 14 homes came on the market here in Upper Township here in December. And for the number of properties that actually closed, we actually did drop from 7 down to 4. So there's only 4 settlements actually in the month of December there. So not a lot, maybe not a whole lot going on there towards the latter half of the year for the primary home market. You actually did see a significant increase though, and I mean significant meaning a little over 3% of your getting your sale value over the list price. So that was nice to see. It actually went from 95% up to 98.5%.
Okay.
So that's a nice jump. I mean, yeah, you may have a little slight drop of 2%, but you got 3.5% more of what you were asking for. So that's a nice balance there. That's a nice increase there.
Sure.
Moving over into Summers Point, moving up into Atlantic County, we actually saw one of the only places I saw, Joe, in the areas that we're covering, a significant increase in the actual value and the sale value of the properties here. They actually jumped 25%, went from 355 up to 444,000. So that was a nice jump there in the month of December for Summers Point. Did have a drop in the number of properties that came on the market. We went from 14 down to went from 17 down to 14. So we had a bit of a drop there. And then when the number of properties that closed, we went from 14 all the way down to 3. So not a whole lot of properties had gone under contract leading up to December that had closed. Again, that number was only 3.
Okay.
See what happens in the new year here coming out.
Right.
As for the overall sales value, this was great. So they went up 25% to 444,000 sale price, and they were getting 102.5% of the sale price.
Got some bidding war going on.
Got some bidding wars going on in Summers Point, apparently, folks. So, the value was going up significantly there. So, great month of December there for Summers Point, and just looking at what's happening with the overall values.
Yeah. That's fantastic news there for the Summers Point
Sure
area. Jumping offshore, staying down like in North Cape May. So, your average sale price in the month of November and December, it was pretty flat when it came to what we had that was coming on the market there. As far as the number of properties that were listed for sale, we only had 3 come on the market in North Cape May as opposed to 11 in the month of November. So not too much happened, and that's a 73% drop in the amount of properties that came on the market. That's huge. And then as far as properties that closed, 8 and 9. As far as the average property price there. And then when you look at your list price to sale price, you ran right around 97% for the month of December from your list price to sale price. We jump over to Cape May Courthouse. Average sale price difference was about 18% from the month of November to December, and that was actually a decrease there, which your average sale price in November was $448,000, in December it was $366,000. So that was a drop. As far as the number of units that sold, we had 10 and 12, 10 in December, 12 in November, and then units that came on the market, we had, it's a 17% drop. You went from 15 to 18. So just, not too big of a difference there. List price to sale price, they both kind of jumped around a little bit there. It was 96%. List price to sale price for December, and November was 95%. But again, you had that. It was about a $60,000, $70,000 difference. Your list price to sale price was $470 and $448 in November, as opposed to $381 and $366 in December. So, Chris, when I look at this, I just see the continuation of, properties that were listed for sale. It's just down, down. When we talk in percentages, it sounds like this massive, everything is 16%, 20%, 80%, and as you point out, when you start to talk to units, they're much smaller than that when you start to do that. Your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, you nailed it. You're seeing that decrease across the board here. And what I'm also starting to notice, though, Joe, is we're seeing the trend of there are more homes coming on the market than there are that are selling per month or closing. It's not big that by any stretch, right? You're looking anywhere depending on the town, so it's not these huge jumps.
Right.
And then what comes into play in the middle of all that? A seller changes their mind, they pull it off the market, something expired. So we're not seeing these huge increases. So there's a very minimal, after a whole year of all these changes of the market, we're still talking about, we're going to talk about those real numbers there when we do the year versus year. But you're still seeing that even, to this point here, we're not seeing these massive jumps or these, in listings, and these massive decreases in the number of sales. It's just not happening. And the overall picture that you see is, you look at this list price to sale price, they're still getting, not better than 95% across the board. And every time we cover it, they're all better than 95%.
Top dollar.
Right. So it's top dollar. So that's great for the sellers. for the buyers that are out there, look, that just means that more buyers are sitting on the sidelines.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity for you because you're not necessarily competing as often as you were, 18 months ago.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
There's some great opportunity out there, no question.
Agree with you on that for sure. And folks, if you are looking to list or sell here in the near future, whether it's next week, next month, 6 months, or a year from now, buying or selling, please feel free to reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or an email. It would be our pleasure to help you with all of your real estate needs down here at the Jersey Shore. So that's Chris, I'm Joe, and until next time, we'll see you at the beach.